How do you raise your vibration from anxious to secure? A lot of intuitive people suffer from anxiety for whatever reason. We've taken on a lot of soul contracts, which means we endure a lot of trauma and difficult events sometimes in our lives in order to grow. That's what our spirit really craves at times when we're alive. Unfortunately, if we don't understand that about ourselves and a lot of trauma and bad things happen to us and we are not sure why, maybe we think it's karma or maybe we think we're bad in some ways, it can manifest into this anxious energetic style, and when it comes up, it actually pushes people away. It can manifest in texting long texts to people, or texting multiple texts, or making multiple calls when the person's not picking up their phone. It can manifest in us asking, what's the status of this relationship, when we're not sure where we stand? Or it can manifest as us chasing after somebody who's told us that they're not interested in having us in our lives for whatever reason. And these are anxious attachment styles. It could also be being needy for a marriage or being needy for a relationship. When we're trying to get these needs met and we're not really meeting them properly ourselves and we're trying to get them externally validated by somebody else, we actually push people away. And the same goes not only in personal relationships, but also professional relationships. So if you're really needy for a promotion or for approval from your boss, that's probably when you're not actually going to get it at work. When you desperately feel like you need somebody to tell you you're okay or that you're doing well, then that's the point where people are actually not going to give you that validation. They're actually going to poke holes in your work and make fun of you rather than really respect your contribution. And so how do we get rid of this energetic vibration of anxiety and raise it to secure attachment? Well, one thing we have to do is let go of control. When we let go of the control that we can't force somebody to marry us or promote us or give us validation to do our work, nobody is ever controllable and nobody can ever be forced into doing something for us. When we understand that as human beings, we understand that we have to be responsible for our own lives. When we take responsibility, that's the first step to becoming secure. Instead of chasing after potential partners for validation or affection, maybe we really need to go to our circle of friends for that rather than a potential partner. Or instead of chasing validation at work, maybe we really have to start a side project where we hustle and we pursue our dreams rather than try to get some kind of promotion or validation at work. However that looks like, and there are many ways that secure attachment can manifest itself positively, we have to look into finding ways to meet our own needs ourselves. That's what secure attachment is really all about, and secure energy really vibrates out and touches people when you've taken responsibility for your life, because they can see that and then they understand that they can do the same thing. You know, we don't have to wait for the boss to approach us and promote us and say that we're good enough to be a manager. We can learn leadership skills before we get into management and really be effective at guiding people. And in fact, if you post on social media regularly, it's almost like a management course in yourself, because you have to come up with content that inspires people and guides people in order for them to watch you. And so that can actually be the best leadership course of all when you're coming up with high quality content to share with others. And in the same way, relationships, when you're pursuing them, seem to not appear, but when you pull back, that's when likely people are becoming curious about you, especially if you really shift to your mission and you focus on the things that really matter to you, like writing the book, creating the content, or maybe you just love to fix cars or whatever it is. You'll attract those other people into your life who are also fascinated by the same thing, male or female, right? And that secure attachment pulls people in because you're contributing, because you're being good to yourself, you're being good to humanity. And if you treat yourself with respect, and you're willing to work out your body, you're willing to eat healthy and take the time to sleep, that also creates self-respect and pulls people in because they see that you take that time to take really good care of yourself. and they'll respect you for that. They will love you because you are a good example of being a high vibrational human being, putting their energy out into the world. And so how you raise your vibration is to get rid of the anxiety you have around relationships. Everything that makes you want to control people, like you want to check and make sure they're not cheating on you, or you want to make sure your boss is not promoting someone behind your back, whatever those insecurities are, you have to recognize that you can never really control things like that, and you have to let all of that stuff go. If people hurt you, they hurt you. But until they do, don't assume that the shoe is going to drop, because that takes a lot of the joy and the life out of the relationship, because you're basically anticipating the worst instead of really being appreciative and enjoying the moment. Now, you can be smart and keep your options open if you intuitively feel something's going on, but don't accuse people of things, and don't try to stalk them or find out what's going on or go into their devices. That's another thing that anxious, energetic people do, is they really try to search people's computer history or phone history. And there's a lot of stuff, if you Google that on or put it on YouTube, you'll find a lot of stuff on people sleuthing and spying on their partners, and it's not a good thing. You basically want to trust people until they've proven themselves to be untrustworthy. And then you can take appropriate action of stepping away when you know for sure they've done something wrong or they've said something wrong. Then you take a step back, absolutely. But before that happens, if they're behaving well and they're trying to be good to you, then receive that love and that joy. Be secure. Don't mess it up by being anxious and assuming something bad is going to happen. So when we're in that style of being anxious, we are really needing to be healed. We actually have to receive love from ourselves first when we're in that mode, rather than from others. We think it's going to be so healing to receive it from another. We may fantasize about it, but truthfully, we just need to go for a walk and be quiet. And it's okay to feel your emotions. So what provokes anxiety sometimes is we've genuinely been hurt in the past. Maybe we have been cheated on, or maybe we have been passed over for a promotion, or somebody in our family has really stopped relating to us or talking to us, and whatever that event is that provokes anxiety. And we all get disruptive events in our lives from time to time like that. It's important to feel your feelings. So being secure and not pursuing anxious attachment styles doesn't mean being absolutely stoic and closed off and not feeling your feelings. You do need to feel your feelings in order to process them. Otherwise, the anxiety may manifest unconsciously. I know that's been the case for me in many moments of my life. I thought I was operating and being secure and being okay, but something hard had happened that I hadn't really fully dealt with energetically. And I didn't take the time to go for a walk or take good care of myself. And then in very subtle ways, neediness started to creep up in my behavior. And really what I just needed to do is have some quiet time to really process some of the things that had happened in my life and understand what the meaning of those events were. And once I was able to do that, then those needy, anxious behaviors dropped away. And I believe all of us as human beings have an anxious moment sooner or later in our lives. It's like sooner or later, a family member's going to die or stop talking to you, or you're going to go through a divorce, or a best friend is going to move away, or whatever those events are that create the anxiety. Because we're all human, we'll experience them, but the trick is you have to heal it and then get back to being secure. And also recognize and self-reflect on your actions that are anxious and needy. If you've been behaving the wrong way, you really have to be honest with yourself and admit to yourself that you have behaved needy and in the wrong way. And that can be the hardest step of all. But if you're living in denial, you won't even recognize that you're anxiously energetic and pushing people away. And being in the flow of things, being, responsible for your actions requires you to take time to be quiet and to self-reflect and realize maybe the thing that's happening to me that I feel like I'm a victim of, maybe it's not that simple. Maybe there is some way that I'm responsible for this negative event. Maybe I didn't do such a good job in my last relationship or my last job. And maybe I got to make sure that I've learned those lessons so I'm not carrying them into the next relationship or the next job.